What's up, y'all? Thank you for making it to another episode of It's My Money with Patrina Dixon, or if you're listening on your audio platforms, The Money Exchange. It's your girl, Patrina Dixon, your personal finance coach. I'm the It's My Money lady across all social platforms. So if you want more of what you're going to hear today, you know what you need to do. Drop down and subscribe or follow wherever you can find me on social. I am so excited. This conversation is going to be great for so many different reasons. So I have David Tuyo on the line. Mr. David, how are you?
Doing great. Thank you for having me. I've been looking forward to this for weeks since we had this scheduled, and very excited about our conversation today.
So am I. Like I love what we're going to share with folks today. I even love the name of the credit union. Let's just start with that. What is the name of the credit union? And we'll talk about the tenants underneath in a moment. Let them know the name of the credit union.
Yeah, sure. That's a university credit union. So just ucu.org. You can find us there.
All right. And tell me a little bit about, I know a lot of my listeners, if you don't, you should know what credit unions are. Why is university credit union so important? And we'll talk more about some of the things that we talked about. Like, why is that important that it's university credit union?
Yeah. So, credit unions across the country were founded by, typically some group of members that wanted to find and create an alternative financial solution to the traditional banking model. And so in 1951, a dozen employees from UCLA said, you know what, we really don't like what's going on over here. We want to have a different option for just kind of our group of people to have a common bond. And at that time, it was employees of UCLA, and we've grown since then, and include students and alumni, faculty, staff, and those that support universities across the country. So we're passionate about higher ed, supporting higher ed. We endow a lot of scholarships for first gen. We do a lot of different things around supporting the higher ed initiatives in California and across in Texas and Georgia and across the United States, coast to coast. So again, it's been a great ride for the last 72 years. And for me, it's been the last 6, and really enjoy our time at university, making an impact to students, faculty, staff, and alumni.
That's amazing. And you gave me some stats earlier. You said you're in a certain amount of geographies and a certain amount of countries. Talk a little bit about that, because I think that's impressive. Because oftentimes when you hear about credit unions, and again, this is why I like this model, is that it's in, there's 1 or 2 locations in a certain geography, in a certain town, certain employees, you need to work for a certain company, worship at a certain location. Talk to us a little bit more about how this model is broader, or able to be broader, different than what you would hear about a traditional credit union.
Well, you talk about how this is your thing, but you definitely know more than 99% of people out there about credit unions, because it's true, right? So typically, credit unions were founded for some company back in the day, and then that company got merged or became something else, and so that credit union now serves a geography around zip codes or county lines, and we're very different. So we're more digitally inclined because of who we serve, right? So we have branches on campus at different campuses, different universities across the country. But what happens is, they move on, right? Faculty move on globally. So we actually have members in every single state in over 30 different countries. And so when you look at how we operate and how we serve our membership, it really is very much digitally focused from that perspective.
Yeah. And I love one of the things you said. Oh my God, it just went out of my head. 30 different countries digitally. Oh, you said something that you just said, and I just lost it. But anyway, so I love how that it isn't just to one area, that it's more broad. And I know what it was that you said, members. I think that's the biggest difference. One of my favorites about credit union, you are a member. You are a member. You're not just a customer or a client. You are a member. So tell them what members mean, because not everybody understands being a member of the credit union just by having an account.
I'm just going to save this podcast and replay it for all my new hires too, because this is great. When it comes to members, we are a member-owned financial cooperative, so very different than a bank. So one member, one vote. So that means that it doesn't matter how much money you have in your savings account. You could have $1 million or $5. As long as you are a member in good standing in that credit union, you get to have a vote in what's happening. You get to have a say in what's happening for that cooperative and that institution. So being a member owner has its advantages far more. And we look at our business model. We have a volunteer board of directors. That's the voice of the member, to make sure that's having direction without conflict around how to drive value and serve our member owners. And then what I like a lot is really the business model. I came from investment banking and worked my way over to credit unions. Is not only are we doing well by doing good work, helping people that need it, the underserved, the unrepresented, the unbanked, the underbanked, but also you get to have this really amazing business model where, as you try to have a sustainable business, you're doing that by serving a member owner. So the member, the customer, and the owner of the institution is one and the same. Whereas like you take a normal for-profit institution, a bank, for instance, they're trying to drive profit from a customer to pay a shareholder. And so it's we need to maximize that value. You see that a lot of times in savings rates, you see that a lot of time in checking account rates, you see that in rewards, and you see that in fee structure. So like we haven't been charging any of the junk fees that the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau has been talking about for over 2 years. And in most institutions are still charging them. And so it just kind of shows you how we're different than our partners on the other side of the aisle.
I love it. I love it. I probably could stay on the phone with you forever because I love financial literacy, financial education. And the more people understand what you just said, really hear, you all, please replay. If you listen quickly to what David just said, make sure you rewind and listen again, because he said some really poignant things in there. And that is, you're a member owner. Not just member owner, right? You also the vote is really important, and in this climate today, votes are important. So you, depending on your standing within the bank, having an account that you have money in, no matter the amount, you have a vote. Literally, if you exercise it, is a different thing. So I love this so much. And then more importantly, our youth are involved. So universities, being involved within the university, because, people that know me know my passion is with our young folks, and them being educated about how they can do money differently is so important to their future. So thank you for the work that you all do. Before we get further with University Credit Union, let's talk about David. Like, who is David? How did David end up at University Credit Union? Talk to him a little bit about your path.
Yeah, it's been a different path. It's not like I went to college saying, man, I can't wait to work for a credit union. I didn't know what a credit union was. And so to your point, like, you know so much about it, but I started out working in investments. And so it was just something that I always wanted to do from the time I was in 6th grade. I did a stock market project on Xerox. Remember Xerox? Like, I had to mail. We didn't have internet back then, right? So I had to send off for the annual report and have it sent back to me, and then we had to do the analysis and share it in front of the class. And I fell in love with how the markets worked, and so naturally worked my way into investment banking after college, and then from there I started working with insurance companies and pension funds and credit unions and banks and community banks in particular. And I just fell in love with the whole idea of what credit unions do and what they stand for. And I felt like, I may be making a little bit less money, but I know I'm doing good work. And so I just fell in love with the whole idea. I've been passionate ever since, and it's been 18 years now, so more than that now, 19 years now that I've been in the credit union space, and been with several different credit unions across the country, in Alabama, Tennessee, Florida, and now the last 6 years as CEO of University Credit Union in Los Angeles, California.
I love it. I love it so much. You didn't sneak in that you taught at many different universities. Then sprinkle that in for us a little bit.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, so I am a nerd. All right. I mean, most of the people at our organization are nerds. We're proud to be nerds. We think nerds rule. And so, we consider ourselves the professors of the financial service industry. And so, to act on that, I do participate in teaching class, and I've taught class. These are guest lecturer classes itself at, Cal Southern. I've taught at UCLA. I've taught at some universities in Southern Florida that everybody's probably familiar with, including FIU, and guest lectured at other universities as well. So it's just something I've been very passionate about, and many times it is on topics related to personal finance. And so it is something, as we talked about before, right? All the work that you did. Thank you for all the work you did for making sure that Connecticut is a school that requires financial literacy. Yes, it's awesome. And as we talked before, my son's a junior in high school, and he'll be taking personal finance next year as a requirement of his school. So we're very excited about how that is all rolling out. Again, it's all because of your listeners and the work that you've done, and credit unions continue to push this as well, because we think it's important that people are literate when it comes to their personal finance. And so these are things that we continue to advance in the communities. But higher ed is something that I personally am very passionate about. We look at my parents, they were first generation at university, and my dad worked 3 jobs to get through Michigan State University, and then got a job as an engineer. And then of course, in 4 kids, and then all kids went to college, and so on and so forth. And so, I see what it did to our family, and how it made a huge difference economically. And then also from a health perspective too. You think about longevity. He's now the longest living Tuyo in the history of our family. And
oh wow.
And so you think about all these little things that higher ed contributes to, that we don't normally see the dots and how they're connected, but it is powerful.
Wow, when you said that, your face just lit up. So that's a proud thing. I love it. So, all right. So you're doing great things. The university credit union is in many different places. Tell me about the student receptivity, like, because you can have a credit union there, a credit union in your school, an ATM there. How do you all go about ensuring that the students who this is all for, if you will, the faculty who this is all for, actually is leveraging what you all offer in their universities or in the geographies that you all are in?
So our board of directors has made it very clear that we don't want the students to be a profit center. And so everything we do, we look at them as beneficiaries of our business, right? So everything goes back from when we have excess earnings, or we surpass our budgeted forecast, we give back through endowments. We focus on investing in scholarships and do different things there. But because our focus is so heavily in higher ed, we interact with students on a daily basis. We're getting their feedback. We're all of our financial literacy programs, we have some that are very similar to what you might see at a local bank or credit union, but then we add and spice it up a little bit. I'm a big fan of cooking. I don't cook very well, but I like cooking. But if anybody ever watched Amber on the Food Network, he's always adding a little spice, like bam, bam at the end. He's always doing some powdered sugar or some pepper in the gumbo. There's always a little something he throws in there. And so we spice it up a little bit too. And so when it comes to that, we listen to who we serve, and then we make adjustments. We find out what's going on in their lives, what are interesting to them, how do they spend their time as well, so that we can make it fun. Because, we don't want to just take a textbook approach. Anybody can pull a book off a shelf, and there are some really good books out there, of course, that are entertaining.
Yeah, like the one behind me.
Like the one behind you, right? And so, it's my money, right? But at the same time, there are some really boring books out there. And for nerds, I don't mind reading them. I love reading stats books. But at the same time, we need to make sure that it's relevant to today's constituency and who we're trying to serve and how we're trying to serve them. We want to integrate into their lives. And so because we have that attention, because we have those locations and the interactions on campus, we're able to curate, relevant knowledge and deliver it in a relevant way that they can enjoy and consume.
I love it. Now, one of the things, and maybe it's different for you all, I don't know. One of the things I will say, that if I were to say there's anything about credit unions that's different than, what a traditional bank would be, and that is the tech piece, right? I know, I believe you said you are more tech focused than others. Either most of them have apps, but it doesn't do a lot, or not connected to the various different ways that people are able to send money to one another. How is your tech different, knowing that a lot of the people that you serve that thought they live by their cell phones and their laptops? Are you a little bit further, or a lot further along in the tech realm than I want to say the traditional credit unions are?
Yeah, so I think when you look at the size of credit unions across the country, there's just shy of 5,000 in our industry now, coast to coast. And I think 75% of them are less than $100 million in assets. And so they don't have the resources typically to have a robust offering, but they're going to have relevant technology for who they serve. Now, for us, we have technology that is, that has to be enabled in a very global way, and it has to be a market leader. In fact, we just did a massive digital banking conversion June 6th, and now we're on a platform. We were already like 4.9 stars in the App Store, and we made it even better. And so, the reaction from our membership has been tremendous, and you can see greater usage rates, we see greater utilization rates, and then the comments has been just overwhelming about the new functionality and features that we put inside and we've embedded into the new solution. And so we have to be relevant there. So we have all the modern money movement areas, we have all the ability to operate, and even built-in financial literacy. We have predictive analytics built in for predicting their needs based on their transaction spend in the past. We have so yes, we're very much digital first because of our business model and who we serve. I'm not going to say all credit unions are that way, but they the credit unions in the past I've worked with, their technology is very relevant for who they serve.
Okay. So if there were three things that you would say to students, to faculty that have not become a member of University Credit Union, what would those be? Like, why? I have a lot of options. Why University Credit Union?
Yeah, so we have kind of a brand promise, I guess you could say. And our purpose is to give everyone in the university community a financial advantage. And from a reason why choose us over somebody else is pretty simple. One, we are the only credit union that was founded, or really financial institution that was founded by universities for universities. And so if you're passionate about higher ed and you think that it is a gift to give to somebody, then we're probably an institution that's going to give you exactly the same banking services you have today, but you know that the profits are going to be going to support those initiatives. Number two, I would say, we are, we work really hard on this. So a lot of times you see on the front page of the newspaper, or you see at the CFP, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, that there's a lot of bad acting going on because of these corrupt incentive models. And so at our organization, we have no individual incentives at all. So we focus on making sure that when you talk to somebody at University Credit Union, you are getting conflict-free, unbiased financial advice, and they're certified, meaning that over 90% of our team members, and would be 100, but we have new ones coming on board, and over 90% of our team members are certified. They're financial counselors or financial planners that are certified. They've been through an exhaustive certification process, and then of course a renewal process. So they're up to speed on all the latest and greatest. And so that when you're getting advice, it's reliable and it doesn't have conflict. I'm not telling you to do something or asking you to do something, advising you to do something so they can get an incentive. And finally, and this is probably one that a lot of people like, I think you like this one too. I would say the last reason of the three that you asked me to choose, I could go on forever, but I would say that the last one is that we guarantee that our rates and products and services are in the top 1% in the country. So there's over 13,000 federally insured financial institutions in the United States of America. And we go to Standard & Poor's every month and make sure that our guarantee is held solid. And then they stamp that guarantee to make sure that we're complying with what we're telling our member owners. So we're not just making some flowery promise. We actually put it out there, and we track it. If we're not in the top 1%, we make the adjustments to make sure that we are. And so it gives you peace of mind that you don't have to worry about shopping around, spending hours on Google trying to find out who has the best savings account, or the best checking account, or
Bankrate.com, nerdrose.com. No,
right?
You
I mean,
do that, right?
And then you get all the ads and all that stuff
Yeah.
that we make the guarantee so we can give our owners peace of mind, and then get back to their lives, enjoy time with their family, enjoy time in their jobs, or enjoy whatever personal activity that they choose to do. So that's our brand promise, and very simple, that we have top 1%. We're the best when it comes to rates and services. We have conflict-free advice from certified experts, and we are founded by the university community for the university community.
I love it. I love it. So I like how you flipped and made 3 number 1 when you restated them. That is big. That is big. Now this is I have a global listenership. That's really big, because as a matter of fact, I was just doing a workshop. I don't know, so one day this week, and young basketball players, and they're interested in how can they manage their money, because they're expecting to get endorsement deals and things of this nature. And we talked about interest rates, and they're like, well, will they stay at this rate? Will they get higher? Can they go lower? So I'm teaching them about interest rates. So that's one of the things they're going to search. So I like that. That's a promise of yours. So and the last thing that I want to end with before you tell people how they can look more for University Credit Union is, how would you, let me see the question I want to ask here. What do you see that you want to dispel? Something you want to say to dispel what people are thinking as it pertains to credit unions? Because people know, I'm very familiar with the bank that's on the corner that they pass by, drive by next to the grocery store, in the grocery store. I love credit unions. I love the fact that you can be a member of, where you choose to have your money rest, if you will. How do you get people? What would you say to people to help them take a closer look at an credit union as an option?
Yeah, I think, with everything else that we do that's serious in our life, when you think about our healthcare, if something was going on that you were having some frustration with, you would go to a professional and get an opinion, and you may even get a second opinion. Mm-hmm. I would say, let the credit union give you a second opinion. You know what I mean? Just stop in, either give them a call, hop online. and find out, hey, is there something better out there? And you're going to find out that, as I did, as many other consumers, over 100 million in the United States now are members of credit unions. Join the crowd. Hop on the bandwagon, because it's all the same banking services you get today, but with a little bit more focus around the values and morals that we should operate under. You look at better fee structure. You look at the member owner framework. You look at how we operate with one another. We cooperate among cooperatives. People oftentimes are worried about branches. Well, credit unions came together to form a whole system of branches. So if you're in another part of the country, and even another part of the world, you can stop in and use another credit union's branches to operate and access your accounts. And so it's fascinating to see how that works out. And it's a global movement, and credit unions are continuing to grow. And again, I would just urge everybody just to spend a few minutes, just give us a chance. And I think that you'll be pleasantly surprised on the value that you're going to get both tangibly and intangibly.
Yeah. So now you say, give us a look. How do they give you a look? Where do they go?
Yeah. So for us, it's pretty simple. So there's, the best way, of course, ucu.org. You can also download our app in the App Store and contact us that way. We also, unlike other institutions, we want to talk to you. So you want to give us a call, you want to talk to somebody, give us a call. It's 800 UCU 4510 or 800-828-4510 is our phone number. But again, for those that just want to give a quick look and say, is this something I want to dabble in? Check out ucu.org. I think you'll be really happy, and I can't wait to have you join and become a member.
Yeah, and we'll drop the link and phone number down in the show notes as well. So I always tell them with banks, make sure that your bank is FDIC insured. And I know credit union has their version of that, and I always mess up the letters. I think it's like tell them what the letters are. It's the first letter. I don't know why I can't remember that every time I want to say it.
Well, it is a little different. So when you have a member owner type structure, we don't have technically they're called shares, because you have a share in the cooperative. And so we have the National Credit Union Share Insurance Fund, so the NCUSIF, and it's extremely strong. And remember, no depositor has ever lost money in a federally insured credit union. And we're the only charter that can say that. And we're very excited about the safety and soundness we have, especially at University Credit Union. And also, I'd love to connect with your listeners on LinkedIn too. So if they want to connect that way, find me on LinkedIn. I'd love to chit chat and interact any way we can, and answer any questions on credit unions that you might have.
Absolutely. So thank you so much, David Tuyo.
Thank you so much. I appreciate your time.
Yeah. So thank you so much for always rocking with me, Patrina Dixon, the It's My Money Lady. Hopefully this episode you found very intriguing. I did, as I talked to David about credit unions and how it could be beneficial to you. We're going to drop the link to University Credit Union below, as well as the phone number that he gave here. So if you're watching us, make sure that you drop down below and leave a comment. If you're listening on any audio platform, The Money Exchange, which is the name of the podcast, make sure you leave a comment there. Give us a review. Let us know what you think about this particular episode. And with that, make it a great day.